The review of Life of Chester for General Hospital, September 12, 2025. First things first, let me know your thoughts on today's new episode down below. What y'all think? Did y'all like the episode? How do y'all feel about Jason making a promise to Josh not to say anything? I said now, this gonna give Brennan an opportunity to tell the truth. I mean, it's too little too late at this point, but still. But yeah, look, I don't know where to start. I guess we're gonna start with Brick and Sunny, y'all. Okay, so no, first I'm gonna do a summary and then we're gonna dive into the review. So Sonny is setting it up like Drew's the one that paid the judge or whatever the money. And I was like, that could have worked had Drew not got shot. Cause that would have made it seem like, okay, Drew's the one. He paid the money so he could get Willow, so he could set Michael up. Hold on. Drew's the one that paid the money or whatever, try to set Michael up or whatever the case may have been. And that's why he decided to take the judge out. But now that he done got shot, I said Michael would be the main suspect. Because one, Michael and them could have bribed the judge. And to keep the judge from talking, Michael did it. Then Michael tried to get Drew because Drew found out about him bribing the judge. I said, Michael going to jail. I said, Michael going to jail. I was like, they done let Drew. It's about time Drew paid for what he been doing. But yeah, Sonny setting it up so Drew... excuse me. Sonny setting it up to make it seem like Drew was the one who paid the $1 million to the judge or whatever. And I said, about time they put their heads together to try to figure out how to take Drew down. I said, what good is it to be in the mob if y'all ain't gonna act like mobsters? Because what the word going on? Running around trying to talk to people and stuff. I'm like, what type of mobster? Y'all know I say this all the time. Because years ago, Sonny was trying to run Cyrus out of town because he was trying to sell substances and stuff like that. Then the whole Pikeman situation where he didn't want to, transport weapons and stuff like that. So I was like, what type of monster is he? What do he do? I was like, what type of monster don't want weapons or substances? But yeah, I was like, by the time they started trying to put their heads together to figure out how to take Drew down. Then Brick said something about basically they could change because, Drew had got shot or whatever, but he not dead. And I was like, nah, y'all stay away because they going to make it seem like y'all the one who did it. But yeah, hopefully this backfires on Drew though. But yeah, where I stop it? Let's see. I already said about the time they act like they in the mob. I said, will it work though? And I got a question for y'all. Do y'all think that Dalton is using Outback as a test subject? Because I've been wondering why they've been making such a fuss over the whole Outback situation. And I was like, duh. That's why Emma was mentioning, them testing animals and stuff like that. I was like, why I didn't put that together sooner? It wasn't until Gio was sitting there and he was making a face and Emma was like, what's wrong or whatever. And he was like, basically, Outback is missing. So I was like, what? We know Outback missing or whatever. Then I was like, oh, Dalton probably got Outback. Hold on. Because I know not Pikeman. Why I call dude Pikeman? What's his name? Pascal was saying that they wanted to use Josh and Vaughn as a test subject. I was like, so maybe they're using Outback as a test subject. But yeah, I thought about that. I had to write that question down to ask y'all if y'all think that Outback is being used as a test subject or whatever. But yeah, what else? Let's see. Brennan ended up catching Josh and Vaughn in bed together. Carly gonna be mad at Brennan and Jason because Jason told Anna that he made a promise to Jocelyn or whatever not to say anything. Jason feels like Anna betrayed him. Leslie ended up slapping Brett for faking her death. Emma still trying to get Dalton. Elizabeth ended up telling Lucas about Brett being alive. And Dante and Lulu told Rocco. And I think the last thing, Carly, Sonny, and Brick was just talking about whether or not Michael could have been the one who shot Drew and if he had an alibi or not. I said, see, if Sonny had been, I don't know where Sonny been the last few days or whatever, but I said he could have been his alibi. I was like, look, somebody. But yeah. Okay, now we finna dive into the review. So Sonny and Brick was at the beginning of the episode just talking about making it seem like Drew's the one that paid the judge off and stuff like that. He was in the house. I said, what good is it for him to been in the house if he didn't see who shot the dude? So we just gonna play the guess game for another 2 weeks, huh? Look, I want to know. That could have been the cliffhanger. They could have did a little flashback and showed us who did it at least. But no, it's gonna continue, y'all. But yeah, Brick was in the house and Sonny was asking if he got a glimpse of who did it. He was like he was long gone before that. We know it wasn't him. Well, he got a little bit of hair, but he ain't got that much hair. He got a little bit of hair. He ain't got that much though. It looked like somebody with hair. It definitely did. That shadow did. But yeah, that's what Sonny and Brick was talking about, making it look like Drew's the one who paid the judge off. Carly came in. That's when she said that she went to see Anna because she wanted to clear her name and stuff like that. They was talking about, Brick said he understand why she would do that. So then they started talking about Drew and whether or not Michael could have done it. And Carly was like, she don't think that Michael did it. So they was asking if he had an alibi. Hey, how you doing today? I had now the other day I clicked on it. It won't let me do it this time. It won't let me do it this time. But yeah, they was just talking about whether or not Michael had an alibi and stuff like that. And Brick hinted at making Brick hinted at getting rid of Drew or whatever. I said, you too little too late. You was in the house and everything. You could have finished the job or something. But now you couldn't have did that because they would have compared the bullets. They would have compared the bullets. And then, not to mention, they keep saying, they had said how they didn't have a weapon. So more than likely somebody gonna say it. So whoever got the weapon, they probably gonna make it seem like Michael did it. I feel like Michael gonna get arrested, y'all. I could be wrong, but we'll see. I haven't actually read the spoilers, so we'll see. Emma still trying to make Dawson pay and prove what he did and stuff like that. Josh and Vaughn still they get oh, that's what I was gonna open with. I forgot. They over here laid up in the bed. I think they was in Australia or something. I said, what the word going on? I said, y'all didn't do y'all job. What y'all over here in Australia? Then they was trying to explain it to Brendan, talking about so they had to, stick to their cover story. Girl, your cover is blown. Your cover is blown. Y'all better be watching out for Pascal, because I think he gonna come back. They over here laid up in the bed. Y'all on vacation. What the world? I thought when they showed them in the bed and they had jumped up and they was pointing the weapons at whoever had came in or whatever, I was thinking they back in town or something. These folks all the way in Australia or something laid up in the bed talking about so Brandon could never know Josh was gonna get pregnant. So I could see it. Yeah, they laid up. I was like, y'all didn't do y'all job. What the world going on? So Brandon came in there mad. They gonna try to explain it. I said that's the least of his concerns. Talking about some this won't interfere with our work. It already did. Y'all ain't did nothing. So they started trying to explain themselves and stuff about what happened and how did they get saved. And he told them that Colette was the one who snitched or whatever. So he wanted to know how they got help. So she was like, Jason Morgan. I said, yeah, you better run your tail back to Port Charles and tell Carlin what he do. But he said he not gonna say anything. But you never know. But yeah, I can't believe they over here laid up like they done did something, talking about a cover story. Then they got dressed and everything. That's when Brendan was questioning them. They told him what happened. They told him about Jason. I said, he gonna say, I gotta hurry up, get back right now. He's like, I gotta hurry up or whatever. But yeah, what else happened? I think they're supposed to be trying to explain themselves on Monday. No, he's supposed to be telling them that they messed up or whatever and they're gonna have to pay for it. Now, you the one, she told you. Now, that's the one thing Colette did say. She said she was inexperienced or whatever, but you don't send this dude. He's supposed to be an expert or whatever. He's supposed to be an expert. Then, what get me about this whole situation, they say, hey, how you doing today? What get me is these people supposed to be trained agents and everything. They over here, y'all ain't taught these folks. They supposed to be spies, right? Y'all ain't taught these folks how to break out of these little hand-tied things. What the word type of training they got going on? Then Anna keeps saying how, the agency is and all that. They obviously ain't worth for doing. They obviously ain't worth for doing because what the word going on? But yeah, Jason ends up going into the office. Jason ends up going to the office with Anna and Carly. He told Carly that he needed to talk to Anna alone. She wanted to know why she finally left. So then he was like, how long did you know that Jocelyn was an agent? So she was like, she'd known for a few months. I said, dog, it's been a few months? I said, dog, it's been a few months? What did y'all think of the episode, though? But then they started talking or whatever, and she was like, she tried to tell him without telling him because she didn't want to face treason and nothing like that. But Jason was still upset. He was mad. He feels like she betrayed him, stuff like that. So she started trying to compare being a WSB, how they manipulated her, as well as how Sonny manipulated him and stuff like that. And he wasn't trying to hear none of that. He was like, I could have told Carly everything had you told me, but now I made a promise to Jocelyn and I can't say nothing. I said, dog it, I wanted Brendan to get caught. I said, dog. Now he probably gonna tell it. I wonder if he gonna tell it. It was so good to see Brick again. I wasn't expecting to leave the slap Britt across the face. I wasn't either. I was like, dog, how we get here? I was like, first she was happy, they hugging and stuff. Next thing you know, slapped her. Next thing you know, she slapped her. I was like, wait, and they supposed to be arguing. Somebody said they think that maybe whoever's in charge has Nathan. Somebody said they think that whoever's in charge has Nathan. And that's how they got Britt to cooperate or whatever. Now, I don't know how true it is, but that's what they saying. But yeah, so Anna and Jason just talking and stuff. He mad at her because he feels betrayed, and she was like, that wasn't her intention. And she told him, to go there or whatever. That's why. So she wanted to know what happened over there. He was like, ask your friend Brendan or whatever. And he left out. So now he's supposed to be talking to Carly and Sonny about Britt on next week's episode. But again, he made a promise to Josh not to say anything. I mean, they ain't never started nobody before, so we'll see. I was like, dog, I wanted, what good was it to him to be the one to find out if he ain't gonna say nothing? Somebody other than Brandon should have been the one to say something. But yeah, I was like, nah, we've been waiting for this, and you mean to tell me he not gonna say nothing? But yeah, let's see what else. Let's see. Lulu. Everybody just still in shock or whatever. Obrick was passed out. I don't know what Elizabeth had in her hand when she was trying to make Lisa come to or whatever. She had, I don't know, it looked like she had something in her hand, but she finally woke up. She thought she was dreaming. That's when she realized she wasn't. So they all was, well, not them all, because Lulu and Dante was over there mad in the mud, especially Lulu. But Nina and Lisa hugged Britt. They wanted to know what was going on and stuff like that. So Lulu went over there and tried to talk to Elizabeth about Rocco and, stalling and stuff like that. She was like, Ben's here. So she got mad about that she called him Ben or whatever. So they was starting to argue, but they stopped. Nina offered to take Britt back to her house and stuff like that. So then I think Lucas was the one working on Rocco's forehead and stuff, and that's when Elizabeth told him after he left that Britt was alive. So he wanted to call Brad. She was like, no, you don't need them problems. You don't need them problems. For all we know, they could have been in cahoots together or whatever. And I said, Lucas just, I don't know what to say about Lucas, y'all. I really don't. But yeah, I don't think he called, though. Hold on. They took Rocco back home. They was about to tell him what was going on. Charlotte came downstairs asking if they found Outback or whatever. They did not. So that's when they told that Britt was at the hospital, that she's alive. He was like, so you didn't tell me? Or whatever. I said, he about to sneak out the house and go find her. I said, he about to sneak out. Lulu still, to me, it seemed like Lulu still didn't want to be honest. Because Rocco, when they got to the house, Rocco was talking about making flyers or whatever for Outback. And she's like, okay, good idea. So Dante was like, first we need to tell you something. I was like, Lulu don't never learn her lesson. She never learns her lesson at all. But yeah, then what happened? Let me see. They set him down. That's when they told, and Rocco was upset because they didn't tell. He was asking if they tried to keep him from seeing her and stuff like that. This gonna be a problem. We call this though. It's gonna be a problem because he gonna want to see her, and they ain't gonna want him to see Britt and stuff, and it's gonna be a whole little situation. It's gonna be then Charlotte over here. She just waiting to see her papa. I was like, they about to lose 2 kids. Well, Lulu about to lose 2 kids. Hold up. But yeah, what up? Then Lulu, what did she say about Brooklyn? She said something about Brooklyn. Brooklyn may be the one to tell it or whatever. And I was like, she got to take a little shot at Brooklyn. I knew it wasn't going to last long. I knew it was not going to last long. What else? Let's see. Oh, I skipped the part. When I was saying that Anna told Jason that Jocelyn grown, she made her own choice and stuff like that, but he was still upset. Vaughn had said Brendan can't know about them or whatever, and that's when he walked in. Let's see. Dante was telling Lulu how he thinks that they should be upfront with Rocco, but Lulu still want to lie like it ain't nothing. she never learned. She never learned. I already said Elizabeth told Lucas that Britt back. Let's see. Brendan wanted to know what happened. They told Lisa was asking Britt what happened, and she didn't want to tell her. So that's when she said she faked the death. The attack was real, but everything after was fake. So Lisa got mad, and she was trying to explain and stuff like that, and that's when she slapped her. She slapped Britt or whatever, and I was like, dog. That's a dog. Reunion over. And I think on Monday's episode, what did they show? I think Britt saying that she basically got her ways from Lisa and stuff, so they arguing and stuff. I said, dog, she didn't even tell everything. I said, she holding out stuff. I don't know when Nathan's supposed to come or make his appearance, but they saying it's supposed to be this month. I don't know how true that is, but we'll see. What else? Let's see. Jason feels betrayed. Josh tells Brendan about Jason. He was Jason Morgan? I said, exactly. How you let, what is he anyway? A hitman? An enforcer? I think he a hitman and an enforcer. Is that the same thing? Either way it go, y'all supposed to be spies? They need to go back to training. He did all that. Remember how when he was first training Jocelyn, he was talking to her stuff about she can't do this and all this other stuff, just antagonizing her. Meanwhile, he was in the same situation right there beside her. I can't believe this. I'm like, what type of spies are they? But yeah, Emma ends up telling Gio, she was talking to Dalton, and he got a call, and they said something about a shipment supposed to be coming in. And she was trying to go there with him and stuff, and he shut her down again. And that's when she told Gio that she got him. And that's when he revealed that Outback was missing. And I was like, they done got Outback. I said, I didn't put 2 and 2 together at first. I said, I think they got Outback. They over here testing on Outback. Because I was like, everybody looking for Outback, and Charlotte came down the steps talking about Outback. And I was like, Why they keep, like, I understand the dog missing, but what does this serve for the storyline? And I was like, oh, duh, they over here testing on him. They gonna stole him. Well, I wonder if Dalton onto Emma. I wonder if he's onto Emma. But yeah, whatever it is, it's supposed to happen next week, y'all. Let's see. What was the last thing? What's the last thing that Liesl slapped Britt? I don't know if it was or not. Oh, they finna start making noise. Well, I think that's the last thing. I think I still got to do Beyond the Gates though. But yeah, that was everything. If I'm not mistaken, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces. Have a great rest of the day, a great weekend, and be safe.